Alright, so one of the things I want to quickly demonstrate for you here is the exercise we had in week 2, which is just a little bit introduction to BigQuery. And I've told you guys in the class before, the BigQuery is a fully managed, petabyte scale data warehouse, and it runs on Google Cloud Platform. I'm going to demonstrate some really quick exercise over here. I'll walk you guys through this and I'll put it on video. That way, if you have any question in demonstrating this should be a relatively straightforward exercise for you. So go ahead and launch my Google console here. Get it over here. And I'm going to go straight to my BigQuery. BigQuery should be under Big Data. So you go under Big Data here, you see a BigQuery. And one of the things I'm going to do here is to go ahead and begin to load or search for some files or database or public database. You can go about this in various ways, and it's totally up to you how you want to proceed with this one. I'm going to go ahead and try and add data, and I'm going to say explore public data set. On the explore public data set over here, the data set that we have in our exercise here, as you can see, it's London bicycle. So you can select London bicycle here, enter it here. I can see London bicycle hires. I can take a look at this, view the data set, and once I say view data set, it's going to load it in a big query for me, and that is it. So I can browse down here and I can enter. I'm going to try and see London bicycle here, select this, and then I have these two table under this data set. Now we can select any one of them and then begins to run our query, and we will do that over here. If I select cycle hire, I can view this data here by simply selecting this. You can see what this table looks like. You can look at the details. This is going to be important later, because when you want to select your or specify what's your table, and then you can see the schema for all the fields that are designed or defined rather in this particular table. We're going to run some of the basic query that you have grown a little bit accustomed with throughout this class. The first one I'm going to quickly run over here is to run a query that will isolate the end station name. So look at this end station name here. We're going to run a query that's going to isolate it. You can look for any field you want to isolate. In this case, I'm only focusing on just that one. As you can see, I'm saying select, and I'm saying end station name, the Z name over here, from, and I'm specifying the table. Look at what I told you earlier on over here. See that big public data London bicycle cycle hire, big public data London bicycle.cycle hire. Look at the way I specify this, and this is something I wanted to make sure you do not forget here, because oftentimes that will cause some error message. Look at this colon here. There's a colon here. I removed that colon and I use just period to replace it. Do not forget that. Okay, so went ahead and specify my table that I want to use, and then and I can run the query that I want to run against it. I'm going to go to run here now, and it's going to take a little while, and it's going to return. You can see it's returned. This is my answer here. It's isolated this end station name. If I specify something else, I will have done that. Now I'm going to go ahead and run another query where I'm going to be leveraging the where clause. Okay, I'm going to be leveraging where clause, and I can save this query if I want to, and if you have a query that is of importance to you, you kind of like it, you can actually go ahead and save it, or you can quickly just run another query. So here I'm going to be clicking compose new query, and I'm going to run this. I can see that I'm selecting the same table, but I'm now using the where clause, and the duration for this where is in seconds. So it's very important for you to realize how we're utilizing the where keyword. We select the star here, that will return for all the column values. That will return all column values from the table, and then the duration is measured in seconds, which is why we specified, that's 60 times 20. That gives us 1200 seconds. So go and run this query. You can see the time over here that it's taking to run this query here. If you look at the result now, you would see that it's returning about 733. If you look at it, this is 1, 2, 3, another 1, 2, 3, almost 7 million, 7 point something million, which is roughly about 30% of the entire stuff. And if you look at this query, what this tells you that about 30% roughly of London bike share ride lasted 20 minutes or longer, because we're looking for something that is equal or greater than 20 minutes here. Again, don't forget that we express these in seconds, so that's very important for us to remember. Now the next thing we're going to do over here is to go and look at the group by keywords. The group by keywords will help us to aggregate the results set row that share common criteria. Okay, we can use it to aggregate results that share common criteria. So I'm going to go ahead and compose a new query, and on this side over here I'm running the same thing. Select I'm selecting this field over here, selecting and specifying the table, and I'm saying group by start station name, and I'll end up with a colon over here. I'm going to run this query, and again it's running over here. Take just a little while, and it's going to group by, you can see over here, and I can group by order name as well, depending on what is my ultimate goal. The next keyword we're going to use over here is count. The count function will return the number of rows that share the same criteria, and this can be very useful in tandem with group by. So let's go ahead and compose a new query here, but this time around we're going to be using also count. So I'm selecting this particular field, and over here I'm using the count function, and what I'm doing over here is to count everything using my star from this particular, and then group by this, and of course you can see when we run that particular query, you can see we did. So select this start, and I say count, how many of these do we have, and you just give me the count over here. So you can see we have Queen Street 2 Bank, this is a number that we have there. The next keyword we're going to be using is the as, and as keyword create an alias of a table or column, and this is more or less in form of a new name. So let's do this one and get a sense of what I get over here, and you can see am I running the same We're going to create a run a new query here. As you can see, as num, and if I go to run, see num start. I can change it. You can make this to be whatever it is, you know, you want it to be. If I want it to be Minneapolis, you can see this new column here is going to be called Minneapolis. So I can do this at will. And of course, there are other stuff that you can also do. You can order by. The order by keyword sorts the return data from a query in ascending or descending order based on a specified criteria for the column value. Let's quickly take a look at this. In the query, come over here. And once this is done, you can see, select the field, count everything as number here, and I say from this table, and I say group them by start station name, so you can see alphabetical up, and then I'm saying order by station name. So you can see we've run this thing now, and this query return a table that contains a number of bike share ride that begins at you know, in each starting station, and you can see this as starting station tells you the number of, you know, bike share ride that begins at each starting, you know, station, and organize them alphabetically, because we said ordered by start station is the name. I will use another example here, but in this case I'm going to organize and you know, order it by the numbers. So I'm going to come over, create a new query here, and enter this one here. You can see I'm ordering now by this number, which is quite different. Running a table that contains the number of all the bike share. Again, these are the station. Select the start station. This is start station here. Count all the column there as number. You can see this field over here from this query. Group by starting station, but then order them by number. So you have this one coming, you know, from the lowest to the highest. And we're going to run the last option here. This is going to run from the highest to the lowest. Ordered by number, we said description, decreasing number order. Press enter here. There you go. So this is very, very important. One of the things we could also do is I can, if I so desire, I can save my query here and then run it later, or I can even make it, you know, available for everybody within the project. That's one way of doing it. There are other alternatives for you to kind of consider. I think it's going to be very, very important. You know, as we go, you can save your result here, okay, and you can save it as CSV, and then analyze it and use it a little bit later. You want to take advantage of that. One of the things we're going to do over here is we're going to run the former command we ran earlier on, because I want us to save, run this one here, and then go to save the result, and then go to save. You can see how I saved that one to my Google Drive. You can also do this option here, browse down and select local file. That will save locally on your local machine. Alright, CSV local file. And as I said, you can see I can put it over there in that side picture, or put it on this section just so I can locate it easily. I can run another. This is going to give me from the highest to the lowest. You can go and do save as. Now, one of these things, the things you are doing here are very, very important, so you could actually look them a little bit later. Local drive. Now, again, the choice is totally yours. You could save this on your local machine, or you could upload it to somewhere else later. You could say, let's call this one X. So we've done some relatively good job here. Then the next thing is we have two files here. We'll try and open them up if we can. And here's the file. So you can see, here is the file we have. We're going to use this file a little bit later on. We're going to go to navigation. What we're trying to do over here is to upload CSV files to cloud storage. So from navigation, you go to storage, and from there you can go to browser, and you can go to create a bucket. So you can give it a name over here and call it big data. And once your name is kind of specified, you can go over here. A second here. Sorry, I change this one to a small case. So bucket name is taken, SAU55577. So you go to create, and now by clicking that, I'm creating a storage. Now I've created it for it, then I can say upload files. So the file that I downloaded earlier on is what I'm going to now go to now. And grab the first one. Done. The second one. Alright, so I've uploaded the two files here. I can easily rename them by double clicking this line, and it will allow me to essentially rename the file. It is important that you pay a little attention to what it is that we're doing here. So what I've just done is simply to rename these files here, and then and I'll go ahead and do the same thing over here for this one here. Name it, as you can see, and you can open the file to see what is in there. That will kind of help you to. So now you can create a SQL instance. Simply to do that, I'll go to navigation. You go to SQL. We see some SQL here. Where my SQL is. SQL here, it's over here. So create instance, and I'll select my SQL. I'm just going to call it Big Data Demo. Call this a Big Data Demo. And the next thing, I can enter a password. And then go to create. As you can see, it takes a little while to create the instance of the MySQL database. So wait for a little bit more. Now the SQL instance is completed. If I click this, it'll bring me up to this page, and you should now be able to see a page that resembles different kind of menu. Overview, connection, users, and so on and so forth that we have for this. You can run a new query if you want to. Don't forget this is my name of my database. I can go ahead and open the shell. Open the shell. And I'll type the name of my machine here just for record purposes. And there's a couple things that you could do over here, and I'll try and demonstrate how this will work for you. I can come over, type this command here. Notice that Big Data Demo is the name of my SQL that I created over here, and you can see it's asking me a question here. When you're prompted, enter the root password that I set earlier on. I said, would you like to enable a retry API not enabled on this project? Would you like to enable it? I'm just going to type yes to enable it, and it's going to enable these. So if you get that the first time, just go ahead. You can see whitelisting my IP address for incoming connections takes about a few minutes. and now it's asking for the password that I created earlier on. And you can see now I have this prompt here at this point, and then I'm going to come over here and type create a database callback and say that's okay. So now I have a database here callback. Then I'm going to make a table inside this database with this command. You can see I'm saying use bike, so that's the database that I created, and I changed the database. And now it's another prompt over here. I'm saying create a table called London 1, and in parentheses I said start location name, variable character. I'm defining this particular field inside this particular table. Number is integer. Press enter, and now I've created that on this particular table. Then I'm also going to create another field on this table. The first one was start station, the other one is going to be end station. And to confirm that I have an empty table, or that an empty table was created, remember this one is London 1, the field, the other one, create a table, London 1, create another table called London 2. I can go ahead and type this, and you can see it's an empty set. I don't have anything in there. I don't have anything in the second one as well, which is really what we want, Then what I can do is essentially to go ahead and do something by uploading the files that we downloaded into them. So I'll go to my SQL instance, and I'll try and see I can make this work really easy. So now from here I'm going to go ahead and import the Excel spreadsheet that we created earlier into this. So I'm going to go to import here, and from this point I'm going to go to browse. This is the storage we created earlier on, and I'll start with the start station here. Select, and it's automatically detected the file. And then our database, I want to make sure that I select my database to be byte that we created earlier on. If you have one database, you see it over here, but the one we're dealing with right now is just the byte. And then I'm going to go ahead and over here I'll type London 1, just like we discussed earlier, and I'll go ahead and create import here. So then I'll go back again. Once this one is done, you can see it's importing it now. So that's done. I'll go back to import again, browse, and end session, select, and this is back. And as we did in the other section, we're going to call this one London 2, and we'll go to import here. Let me connect my shell. Once this is done, I'm going to try and go ahead and attempt it again. So this is the second table that we're importing here. So I'm going to try and see if I can select from. So if you look at the thing that I typed over here, just trying to select one of the table, London 1, and when I run it, you can see it return this table up here for me. We just kind of like pass through most of the stuff. And go down to the one over here, and then change this one to 2, and return this also as well. I can use the delete keyword, and if I do that, I'll be deleting either the table or the content of the table. Alright, so one of the things that you use to delete is mostly for data management. Okay, and what we're going to type over here, this will delete from this command. It will delete the first row of London 1 and London 2. As you can see, when number is equals to 0, that will take care of the first row for those command. The other stuff we can also do is to insert into keywords, and what that would do exactly is to insert the word test destination and number to 1. So I'll give you an example also here. With the insert keyword, you can insert value into tables with the insert keywords. You run the following command, as I'm going to show you now, to insert a new row into your London, and it would have an effect in the sense that it will set start session name to test destination. You understand? Start session name, you will set it to test destination. So press enter here. As you can see, now that's taking effect. And if you go back and run the command we ran earlier on, you can see test destination over here. We're getting close to the end of stuff here now. The last keyword we're going to use over here is union, and what that does, it helps us to combine the output of 2 or more select queries into a result set. And that will kind of help you. You can run it against London 1 tables, London 2 table, and if I do the same thing, if I do something like that over here, you will have a rather lengthy command here. We select this column, this field, and name it as a top station, and then number. You create this and this from this particular table where number is greater than this, and then select that with this one, and of course it's going to have it to you in a descending order, and if you do that, it will give you this. Alright, thank you. This is where I'm going to stop here now. I hope you find this video very useful.